All right, let's get started. Welcome to everyone tuning in from home or wherever you may be. I hope that everyone is staying safe and being smart during this time. It's my privilege today to welcome Dr. Stan Voiger for an interview in the hopes of explaining some of what's been going on with the economy over the last few weeks. Dr. Voiger is a resident scholar at the American Enterprise Institute, where he specializes in political economy and public finance. He's also the editor of AEI Economic Perspectives and a fellow at the IE School of Global and Public Affairs in Madrid and Tilburg University in the Netherlands. He was a visiting lecturer of economics at Harvard University in fall 2016, 18, and 19. His research has been published in leading academic and professional journals, including the Journal of Monetary Economics, Quarterly Journal of Economics, and the Review of Economics and Statistics. He is the editor, with Michael Strain, of Economic Freedom and Human Flourishing, Perspectives from Political Philosophy. He received a PhD and an AM in economics from Harvard and an MSc in economics from Universitat Pompeu Fabra. He completed his undergraduate education at Utrecht University and Erasmus University, Rotterdam. Dr. Voiger, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you. I think to get us started, since the pandemic has hit, we've seen kind of a growing economy shrink and be almost entirely shut down over the last few weeks. For a lot of people at home or students like me, it's been a little challenging to understand what's really happened. In terms for us, could you explain what's happened to the economy so far?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So the big picture is that the economy has been crumbling in a way that it really hasn't in living memory, certainly not, at this speed. And so we've now seen a number of weeks in a row with, 4 to 6 million people filing initial unemployment claims, right? So it's people who've been laid off and who go to the unemployment office in their state and they ask for unemployment insurance benefits. That's a lot of people. So to put this into context, the total labor force is about 160 million people. And so if you have 6.6 million people applying for unemployment benefits in a week, which we had twice in a row the past couple of weeks, that's about 4% of the labor force, right? So just the number of people who filed for unemployment benefits over the past month add up to 10 or so percent of the labor force, maybe a little more actually with this week's number. And so that's a lot. That if you add up that number to the unemployment rate when we went into this crisis, you're well above 10%, and you're well above where we were at the worst point of the financial crisis and the Great Recession that followed. Now, obviously, the unemployment rate will be a little lower when it actually comes out because people will drop out of the labor force, and so they're not actively searching for work, and so they won't be counted. But just the magnitude of the job losses is really overwhelming. Now, obviously, that makes a lot of sense because we've shut down big chunks of the economy, including sectors that people don't always think of as being tremendously large. For example, restaurants and food preparation, total employment there is similar to maybe even slightly bigger than total employment in all of manufacturing. And that's a big part of the economy. Now, those narrow industries that are entirely shut down, of course, are not the only ones that have seen reduced activity. In industries that are not at all affected, right, where people can just work from home. Education, which you mentioned, is actually a pretty good example, where lots of work can be done, from behind a computer. Even there, of course, the fact that people have switched to telework has consequences for consumption patterns outside that industry. Right? So if you run a parking garage, right, for example, or you serve you serve food to people near their workplaces in what is not a restaurant or a bar, but any other kind of setup, or you're a supplier to workplaces that people no longer visit, right? Just simple things like paper towels and toilet paper for workplace usage as opposed to residential. All of those people are affected, and so people don't drive as much, right? And so you see, obviously, we've seen demand for oil drop also for unrelated international reasons, certainly the demand shortfall from the crisis hasn't helped. And so you really see a big chunk of the economy very directly affected. And so that's reflected in job losses, in a dramatic decline in asset prices, and in basically every economic indicator we have.